You have one too? I mean, we both.
Yeah, I got a ring light. Let me tell you what.
Look at this. It looks beautiful.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Who would have thought? It is Wednesday currently for us, and if you watch MASL Mondays because you want MASL on your Mondays, then you are in the wrong place. But that's okay. We're going to have a fun time. Anyway, my name's Adam Whitaker Snavely. I am joined as always by Pablo Maurer. And Pablo, we have a new Ron Newman Cup champion, which is also the old Ron Newman Cup champion.
Yeah. What else is new? Yeah, we were both there. Great time. No complaints. Extremely fun. I got nothing else. Yeah.
I have no other things. Exactly. It was a good time. Pablo and I did manage to get out to Pechanga Arena for the last leg of the final, and honestly, a great game. Really, really great crowd. I think there was over 3,000 people that they announced there. Pablo, you had your own experiences with some of the supporters groups. I know that right close to us, we apparently witnessed the ejection of something of a San Diego Sockers fan legend,
Sergio.
Yeah,
there was definitely a fan ejected for heckling the refs too much. There's also that collection of fans right by the opposing team's bench with Vuvuzelas, who I guess a bunch of them are loyal supporters, San Diego loyal supporters. They were also equally as unhinged. They have multiple supporters groups, and the guys behind the goal with the drums and stuff like that. I was actually legitimately shocked. And some of these people look a little unhinged. So
shocked, impressed,
scared. Yeah, I don't know.
Frightened. Who is to say? But at the end of the day, they were there to support the San Diego Sockers, and they went home happy because the San Diego Sockers won the second leg of the Ron Newman Cup Finals 4-3 after taking the first leg home 6-3. And once again, San Diego Sockers are champions. And we're going to break down the game a little bit in addition to some of the fun moments and the entire scope of the Ron Newman Cup Finals. But any broad takeaways from the game itself, Pablo, that you came to mind specifically for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this easily could have been a 10-3 game or something like that. I mean, Florida were fairly comprehensively outplayed. Their goalkeeper essentially stood on his head the entire night. There was a moment, I think, probably early on in the third quarter, towards the fourth quarter, where Florida was still in it. And you could see San Diego sort of getting frustrated later in the game, as they have in other games, sort of losing their focus a little bit. And I did think at that moment, that there was a possibility that the Tropics would pull something off. But at the end of the day, man, they outshot San Diego like 3 times to 1, so it was pretty clear who was going to emerge victorious at the end of the day.
Definitely hard to take home results when you are getting outshot in those types of numbers. I do agree with you. There was some moments where it did seem like San Diego was getting frustrated. Florida, with some well-practiced dark arts, I would say, definitely there were moments when the game was getting quite chippy. Referees were more or less letting the game play on, and San Diego, I think, was frustrated at that when they didn't get a lot of calls. Similar to what we said prior to the finals, I think I mentioned that one of the ways that I thought that Chihuahua was really keeping themselves in games with San Diego so well was the fact that they frustrated San Diego, and they were taking advantage of calls not going San Diego's way. They could push things a little bit and get San Diego into foul trouble, and that similar situation to happen here, but at the end of the day, Florida just couldn't get things going. I think you have to look at Florida's big attacking players and how quiet that San Diego managed to keep them all game, especially in that second leg. Obviously, Zach Reguette, he only has one assist, doesn't manage to get himself a goal at all. I didn't see. I don't believe Ricardo Dieguez got recorded a goal or an assist. Victor Perez got himself on the score sheet, but this is, if you don't get one of those guys, at least one of those guys for Florida cooking, then you're going to have issues. And even though the game did stay tight, obviously, like you mentioned, you have House standing on his head for Florida. You got to put San Diego away, and you have to really take all of your chances. And if you don't, then they're going to do what Craig Childs did. And that is just absolutely bury a rocket into the top corner. Some really, really pretty goals that were coming out in the final game.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, it's the same situation anywhere in global soccer when teams are incredibly outmatched. Like, your big players have to show up. You're only going to get a few chances. You have to convert them. As far as dark arts go, Drew Ruggles was single-handedly responsible for like 90% of the Florida Tropics dark arts. That is a compliment, by the way, not a criticism.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just sort of got the feeling. I mean, I was actually at the soccer's training session the day before the final, and towards the tail end of training, I mean, a great deal of time was spent talking about Zach Riggett. His movement, how to shut him down, sort of how to force him into certain channels, that kind of stuff. So San Diego came prepared, man, and they did what they've done all year. I mean, it was like a legitimate shock when they lost one game in the playoffs. So certainly, I didn't think they were going to lose on Sunday night. Did Phil or anybody pick the Tropics to win?
I actually don't know.
I could crap on for being wrong.
I don't know if it was a broadcast, the picks, the potential winner for the Ron Newman Cup finals, like the earlier rounds were. I know that I was picking San Diego. I know that you were picking San Diego, and I think that most people would probably pick San Diego that are MASL fans outside of the state of Florida, and possibly even some of those inside of the state of Florida. But you can keep that to yourself. We're not gonna mess up your scene here. But yeah, the Sockers certainly came prepared. They were ready for Florida's attack, and credit to them for that as well. I know that we said, your big players have to show up, and that's true. But also there is the opposite side of that coin where, if your big players don't show up, a lot of the time that is also due to the other team being really, really good, really well prepared, and shutting those players down. And that's what happened by and large for San Diego. And, it's easy coming into that second leg of the final where, okay, we won 6-3 away from home. The logic says maybe this should be easy, but I think San Diego took some of the lessons of that first game to heart. At one point, Florida was winning in that game, and it was very, very close down at the end until you saw Florida, chasing some goals, putting in the sixth attacker, San Diego taking advantage of an empty net here and there, and running up the score a little bit at the end when Florida is pressing forward, obviously looking for a result, looking for a way to score. So the game a bit closer, I would say, the first game than that score line would suggest it was. And San Diego took those lessons, they brought them home, and they got the job done. It wasn't always perfect, but they could have definitely scored more goals as well if it wasn't for House. So all things considered, worthy champions. I think that the best team in the league won the championship, and you can't say that it isn't deserved. Now let's get to the real thing. Sorry, Pablo, go ahead.
It's okay. Like my main takeaway from this entire experience on Sunday was that the fan experience at a soccer's game was pretty epic. I mean, in a way that I appreciate deeply. There were like tailgates going before the game. The whole scene, like the area around the arena, which is right next to a swap meet, and sort of it sort of had like a Mad Max vibe. At the end of the day, I feel like indoor soccer's place in the American sporting landscape is like a bit of an outcasted one, and I think that came through. I mean, it really reminded me of going to I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee, and we used to go to Nashville Knights, KNIGHTS games. They were a minor league hockey team in Nashville, Tennessee. And it was just the same. It was like a few thousand diehards, families, people who were too drunk to stand up, etc. Similar vibe at Pichanga Arena. And I really appreciated it. It was great. Plus, we got a photo with the soccer's mascot, who remains a horrifying, freakish looking hybrid that somebody on Twitter said they need to give him ears so he at least looks like a Dalmatian. Agreed. You could do something with him. this person is haunting my dreams, so yeah. Anyways.
No, I am glad that you brought it back to the experience in the stadium. It did feel appropriately like a final. It did feel appropriately like a big home team victory. And it did feel appropriately like that halftime performance in the bubble soccer round with a bunch of teachers and moms was bloodthirsty. And I loved every second of it.
Mother's Day bubble soccer set to the with Mother by Danzig playing in the background.
That was what was happening.
While I do understand that the word mother is in that song is maybe not appropriate in a Mother's Day deployment. It was that and Stacy's mom, which again I have to question. I feel like they just Googled mom songs, but maybe didn't read the lyrics. But either way,
I had some flashbacks to high school because my mother taught in the school that I went to, the public school that I went to.
Same here. My mom was a Spanish teacher.
My mom was also a Spanish teacher.
What? Hey, yeah, was your mother's name Maria Estrella Iglesias?
Yes. We just became related.
How deeply troubling was it for you to have your mother teaching at the same school, or did you like it?
Usually it was actually pretty fine. I've always had a really good relationship with my mom, and my mom is actually pretty cool and always has been. Kind of was like one of the kid favorite teachers in a lot of ways when I was in high school, and I think maybe still.
I too have always had a great relationship with your mom.
Thanks, Pablo. Thank you.
That's enough.
The song Stacy's mom, however, was easily transposed to Snavely's mom. And so, in early high school and maybe even a little bit in middle school, when the children became aware of who my mother was, that became a frequent source of picking on me. So that was always fun. That was a good time.
You'll be shocked to hear this, but I was not a great student. And so my teachers would frequently just like find my mom in the teacher's lounge and just be like, "You forgot his homework again," like that kind of stuff. So it was bad. Anyways, we could probably move on at this point.
Yeah, we can unpack this with our therapist later.
Exactly. Thank you.
All of these things. Did enjoy the halftime show. Also, other things around Pechanga Arena that I enjoyed. The corn dogs. Frankly, my wife and I both got corn dogs, and they were actually some of the best concessions that I think I've ever had at a live sporting event. They were really, really nice. So
I got to meet Warner Roth, who I've never actually met in person, which was a personal thrill for me. He's a US soccer legend, Yeah.
Also, you after the game, I believe you told me that you met Craig Childs, and he knew who you were without you having to introduce yourself.
It's true. I still got to get him on the phone the next couple of days. Can I tell you a quick Craig Childs story, Adam?
Oh, please do.
So last night I covered the like I'm sure Phil, our producer, is literally asleep at this point, so we can just keep talking.
We can just keep going. Who cares what Phil thinks? Phil has his own show.
Yeah, exactly. I covered actually didn't cover. I went to the DC United Red Bulls Open Cup game and sat in the upper deck with a friend, and Chris Pontius, ex DC United player, Galaxy Union. He's a player agent now, and so he was at the game because a couple of his players were playing for DC. And we just were chilling and, sit around together. Chris and I have become friends since he retired. And he said, what have you been up to? And I said, I was out in San Diego doing this big indoor soccer, piece. And he goes, "Oh, man, there's a guy I think who still plays the San Diego Sockers. Do you know who Craig Childs is?" And I was like, "Chris, do I know who Craig Childs is?"
Do I know who Craig Childs is?
Yeah. And Chris was like, "Yeah, in 2008." So Chris went to UC Santa Barbara, and between his sophomore and junior year, he was training with Chivas USA. This is when would have been their second year in existence.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig Childs had a brief, he had a cup of tea with Chivas USA. I think he was there for 5 or 6 months, possibly, during the Thomas Rongen glory years or whatever. So
Glory is a word frequently
yeah,
used to
so
describe
Pontius
Cheapest
goes,
USA.
yeah, Pontius goes, yeah, man, I swear to God, dude, that dude had an absolute cannon of a leg. And I turned to him and I was just like, you know what? He's 37 and he's still like literally executing people on the field on free kicks. You know, like yeah. And
Literally,
he hit a couple good ones on Sunday too. You know, like
yeah. No, we were saying with the people we were with, obviously I was there with my wife, you were there with a couple friends as well. And we were telling them, like, literally just watch him. Whenever San Diego got a free kick anywhere close, anywhere remotely close to the goal, we're just like, just watch him. He's gonna either
it's like
plant it.
in Zoolander where Mugatu or whatever is like, that's Zoolander. He's so hot right now. He says it over and over again. It was literally like that with Childs. He's like, that's Childs. He's so hot right now.
Both of us like, Childs.
Yeah,
He's so
exactly.
hot right now.
Even if he shaved his mustache, but whatever, you know.
That was sad. I was sad to see that go. Yeah. Speaking of Craig Childs, he did end up taking the MVP of the Ron Newman Cup Finals. In that last game, you also had some goals from Brandon Escoto, Davoy Morgan. Do you think that Craig Childs was deserving of the MVP for the finals?
I mean, I don't think he wasn't deserving of it. You know what I mean? But I think
very diplomatic.
Yeah. I just think like something I've noticed maybe about the awards generally this year is there are some sort of like legacy nods, and like I don't want to say that that's what that was. I just think, first of all, Craig had a great game. I don't think there was necessarily another player that stood out, you know, that rose sort of, you know, above and beyond everybody else. You know what I mean? So no. I mean, now I feel bad. Yes, Craig Childs deserved the MVP award. Okay, what are you trying to do, Snavely? You know, like.
To get you in trouble, like always.
Great. Wonderful.
Yeah, you know. I mean, the only other player I think individually that I would say is like, oh, like that person had a standout game was on the opposite side of the field. It was Rainer House for
100%.
The Florida Tropics. And then you run into the weird thing as well of, oh, should a player from the losing team win most valuable player? Obviously.
Like in San Diego, and that was never going to happen.
It was probably not going to happen. I will say, shout out to Davoy Morgan for his goal. I'm a sucker for great little forward moments, and that touch that he took to bring the ball back across his body and release himself forward, just a quick strike into the bottom corner. Really, really pretty goal. A really nice way to kind of help set the tone. Still somewhat early on in the game, and I just really, really loved that goal from him when we were in there.
Shout out to Davoy Morgan for like having an incredible positive mental attitude too. Like every time I've ever seen this human being, and I interacted with him twice this weekend, is just generally like a ray of sunshine. Just put that out there, you know, like I don't know, whatever. Shouts to positivity. You know,
shout outs to positivity. Shout outs to Davoy Morgan. And you know what? That is making me feel absolutely phenomenal about my pick moving into our MASL Monday Awards section. That's a segue. So, MASL Monday, we took some time to pick out some of our favorite things from around the league this season, starting with favorite player. Whoa! Look who I picked. It's Davoy Morgan, who now I have just found out is also a great human being on top of being a fantastic player to watch on the field. I always really, really appreciate his energy, his hold-up play, the quickness that he can react to plays as a forward. And not as like the smallest guy on the field either. Like Davoy Morgan is very good at using his body and using his strength to carve himself out some space from the forward position, but he's also pairs it with those quicks and that speed that is so difficult, such a difficult combination for defenders to deal with. I would say that Davoy Morgan, probably my favorite player to watch on the season. Pablo, what about you?
Has to be Macaulay, Harrisburg, backup goalkeeper.
It will never die.
Yeah, exactly. In all seriousness, it's probably Craig Childs. I mean, you know, again, I mean, I'm just a fan of the dude's attitude, of the dude's play. I'm also a huge fan of like dudes who maybe don't look incredibly athletic, but still are somehow, unstoppable. I'm thinking of Tommy McNamara also in MLS.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
another Chivas
exactly.
USA legend.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love when people are like, he doesn't look like a soccer player. You know who another one is that was like one of the greatest goal scorers ever? Gerd Mueller, right? I mean,
Oh
this
yeah,
dude, yeah, I mean, I did this long form on his days in NASL, and every freaking person I interviewed was like, this guy didn't look like a soccer player. Like one of his teammates on the Fort Lauderdale Strikers said he looked like a quote duck-billed platypus made from parts of other soccer players. Like Craig Childs doesn't rise to that level, but
no,
37, and he's also, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Sockers next year have a new arena opening up, $40 million project.
oh
So
yeah,
that'd be your last Pachanga game. I'm not sure actually. Maybe they might play, I guess, part of next season. I probably should have found that out before I said it, but either way, they have an arena opening next year, which is fantastic. Like, it'd be great to have more MASL teams with like their own proper home. So
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Agreed that I love when I see soccer players that are really successful that don't necessarily look like soccer players.
Yeah.
And also, shout out to Craig Childs. He's 37 years old and still doing it at that level, still
Exactly,
scoring
man.
goals
Yeah.
like the one he scored to win the Ron Newman Cup final.
Like certified bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's definitely like Childs is a bangers only type of player, which obviously that also I deeply appreciate. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Moving on to our next award, which is probably one that we are, in our own minds, much more qualified to answer. What was your favorite jersey in MASL this season? Pablo, I'll let you go first since I went first last question, but both of us have been paid to write very strong opinions about jersey design in the past.
Finally, the fashion segment of our show, which I've been waiting for. I got to go with either the Blast throwbacks or honestly, I probably would choose the Soccer's throwbacks. The
Oh,
82 ones, that they wore a few times. Like I mean, those they're great. I love the diagonal lettering. I love the crest. Here's another hilarious thing is that I was looking at their crest. A few things. First of all, the crest that's on the turf at their arena only has 13 stars in it. I feel like it's probably cost prohibitive to replace that section of turf every time the Sockers win a championship. But also, the current crest has 15 stars in it, and they're arranged nicely into like I think it's like 5, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, something like that. I don't know if that adds up, but it's something like that. And this 16th star is really going to cause chaos. I don't
yeah,
know where they're going to put this thing.
it's
I
going to
was
be an
looking
issue.
at it. I just couldn't, like I couldn't figure out where it's going to go. I'm curious. These are great problems to have. Maybe they should do the thing that teams do where the 5 stars just get converted into like a larger star. You have like 3 larger stars and then a small star. I don't know.
Or for the sake of design, maybe San Diego should consider just being worse at the game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Let's talk about what's really important, and that's looking great
Maybe
while
they
you're
could
on the field.
ditch their current crest and go back to the first NASL one, which was just like an inexplicably like bruised like kid with a band-aid on his face holding a ball.
Yes.
I don't know, like that works too. How about you? What do you like as far as the jerseys go?
I think I've said it on this show before, but I have to pay homage to what I think is a top 5 soccer jersey, not in the MASL, but in all of North American soccer.
Okay.
And that's the Tacoma Stars. The Tacoma Stars, I believe the primary jerseys, the full effect with the white top, the orange and yellow diamonds across the midsection into navy blue bottom of the shirt, navy blue shorts, navy blue socks. It's just a great look. It's kind of timeless. It definitely has a retro feel to it, but it doesn't feel like I'm looking at a throwback jersey at the same time. And I just really love the full effect on them. I know that Tacoma didn't have the season that they probably wish they did, but I have to say, despite not making the playoffs, they looked great while not making the playoffs. They really looked good while not doing that.
What's your favorite? This is just a quick award, like favorite playing surface in the league. Is it the blue turf? Is it the Florida Tropics new insanely green, like
So
alternating
green.
turf?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so green.
Is it whatever they play on in Harrisburg? What is it, concrete? I'm not sure. Is it more Harrisburg slander?
Harrisburg.
Yeah, I love the blue turf. I'm a huge fan of, like, if you can do any color, just forget green, like go wild with it, you know? Like,
Okay, but do you differentiate between the Utica City Smurf turf or the Kansas City Comets blue turf?
I like the KC blue turf. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We can
I'll
move on
probably
to the next game. It's fine.
No. I'm now I'm invested.
Yeah.
I think that I will probably pick Utica just in solidarity with all of upstate New York in general. Central and Western New York rise up always. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we get that certain kind of way about that sort of thing. But also, I have to say, shouts out to Chihuahua for rocking the steel gray turf. Definitely one of the weirdest turf color choices in the league, but
having fans
I like it.
hanging over the boards and, like, I mean, that place looks wild, man. I would 100% go to a game there. I have to find
absolutely.
that. You know, like, yeah.
Absolutely. On to our next award. Phil, our producer, actually suggested we have a favorite goal of the year, and we both disagreed. I think that if you didn't pick this goal, you're either a homer or you're dumb, because it's Benji Monreal.
The audacity to even do it, you know, just like, I mean, it's like, and it was, you know, honestly, is running onto that ball. I don't want to call it an easy finish if he hits it normally, but, like, it is a goal he should score. So to try something like that with the risk being that, like, he misses a relatively open shot, and, you know, like, it would not have ended well for him, is what I'm saying, had he, like, you know, like, missed that or fallen over on himself. Just to try that was exceptional, you know.
To try it is exceptional. To do it even more so. Obviously got a ton of traction on social media. Got on a Sports Center, which, I mean, how many players in the MASL can say, you know, I was a Sports Center top 10? It doesn't happen to many people. I mean, it doesn't happen to many soccer players in the United States in general.
I mean, dude, ESPN is an MLS broadcast partner. They don't even talk about MLS. You know how hard it is to get on. You know how hard it is to get on ESPN if you're, like, have anything to do with American soccer. Jesus,
it's damn difficult, and Benji Monreal did it. That is certainly our favorite goal of the year. There are other really, really good goals. Obviously, Ricardo Dieguez comes to mind for his bicycle, scissors, whatever, overhead kick for the Florida Tropics against the Ontario Fury. But Benji Monreal, for the audacity, mostly, I think. The audacity really just, like, drives it home that this is the goal of the year in every sense. It's our favorite goal, and frankly, it should be your favorite goal, viewer/listener.
All right, what about, let's close this out with just your all-around favorite moment from this year. Give you anything on the field, off the field, during play, no play. Other than the corn dog you had on Sunday, what is your favorite moment of the MSL season?
Man, the corn dog was really, really good.
Yeah,
it was good. My favorite moment from the year, you know, we've talked about him a lot already this episode, but I have to give it up for Craig Childs in that playoff tie with Chihuahua with 11 seconds left. I think just absolutely the stadium is going nuts, first of all, because they're almost certain that Chihuahua is about to win the game. Chihuahua should be about to win the game. And then Craig Childs with ice or antifreeze or something besides human blood in his veins steps up and absolutely buries the free kick to tie the game with 11 seconds left. I think we said before, the commentary also, the Spanish language commentary in through the Xbox Live audio quality mics just also solidified
just
this
the muffled screams in Spanish of people saying "Eso no pasó."
No me lo puedo creer. Eso no pasó.
That didn't happen. I cannot believe that happened. You know,
frankly, Pablo, you just transported me directly back to that moment. I'm feeling all the feelings again.
Right. Yeah. And then Childs just, like, just walking off the field like he just executed. I mean, it's ridiculous, you know. Like,
oh yeah, no celebration, just walks away.
Just covered in blood, right? Just head to toe, just like yeah.
Getting the chills thinking about it again. What about you, Pablo?
Again, the Childs.
Oh my God.
We have to stop doing the show. My favorite moment, yeah, that's a good one, man. Might be. I'm a fan of the anthems. We had a couple of real chicken screechy anthems.
Oh no!
I'm not gonna name names. There was a performer at a KC Comets game who just absolutely manhandled the anthem. But yeah, I mean, during a game, I don't know. I'd probably come back to the Montreal thing, man. I mean, it was like watching that goal. It was like one of those things where you scream at your television.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it was just like I think the last time I freaked out like that about a goal was the goal Zlatan scored in his first game in MLS.
Oh, yes.
I think I jumped over my couch, like jumped over behind it, you know, like, but it's got to be the Montreal thing, man. That's a worldie. I mean, that might be like one of the greatest goals in the history of American indoor soccer, you know, like, so whatever.
Yeah. And
I'm sure like Steve Zungul scored like 30 goals in that goal, but whatever.
Of course. I mean, there's a billion of them that are lost to history or that only exist in oral history that I'm not equipped to even share. But Benji Monreal's goal, I mean, I think worthy of both a favorite goal of the year and favorite moment of the year for sure.
I got to tell you something. I was talking to Shep Messing earlier today for a piece, and there's a really great Sports Illustrated piece from 1980, I want to say. It's by Frank DeFord. It's called Show, Sex, and Suburbs, and it's about the MISL. And a lot of the piece has to do with how they were trying to use sex appeal and apparently successfully, like 40% of the fans of the league were women, which is, you know, a huge number for something like that. And I asked Shep if I was like, was that real, you know, like, or is that just like Frank DeFord, like his narrative that he, you know, like pushed or whatever. And Shep was like, it was absolutely real. He said, like, he said that we had a sponsorship with Brute Cologne. And every year there was a most handsome player award.
Yes.
And he said, and then of course in Big Shep, he goes, I want to say I won the award 7 years in a row. But like, yeah, Brute.
I mean, that tracks.
Cologne, most handsome MISL player. I think, anyways, my point is that there's a real opening, Shep, JP, Keith Tozer, for like an Axe body spray most handsome MASL player award thing here. I don't know, just saying, you know, yeah.
I can corroborate this about the old MISL and the old indoor leagues trying to use a lot of sex appeal in their advertising.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing a podcast with my little brother, rest in peace to the Deadball Brothers podcast, we kind of specialized in weird or unique or very specific soccer stories, and we did one on like 80s and 90s indoor soccer.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what team it was, but Dave Sarakin played a lot of indoor soccer. Former interim United States men's national team head coach, Dave Sarakin. And the team, whatever team it was that he was on at the time, definitely had an advertisement for the team that read "Hot legs, hot action."
Yeah, there's apparently Shep said they used to oil the players' legs up.
Yeah, hey, got to get those muscles.
Also, I chatted with Shep for a piece I'm writing for The Athletic, but also we talked about Ronaldinho. This is crazy. Ronaldinho is you know, the part owner of an upcoming MASL franchise. Still TBD where that's going to go, but this guy is like an icon and an idol to those of us who are a certain age. Absolutely incredible get for the league, you know.
Yeah. As my mom will always tell me that it is actually pronounced Ronaldinho, and that's just because my mom's first language is Brazilian Portuguese. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. It is a huge get for the league, and looking forward to next year. I mean, obviously, Ronaldinho takes precedence, but you also have Tattoo coming back into the league with Mesquite. You have Maurer coming back into the league. It is an exciting time for MASL fans. Even as this season is ending, there is a lot to look forward to next year.
Yeah, do you think we'll be back?
You know what? It's too early to say. It is far too early to say. I know that, at the very least, they let us go to the final, which is, promising, I will say. All things considered, all shows that we have done considered, promising that they still invited us to the final.
Especially given the fact that the show is called MASL Monday, and I think we did one show on a Monday this year. So
yeah. And I certainly have had a couple of episodes where I sounded like I was using a talk box or a T-Pain voice, like robot voice kind of modulator, just because of all of my internet issues. But you know what? We like to think that's all part of the charm.
Yeah, I don't know. There were multiple episodes where I was intoxicated. So,
Okay. Well.
All right. Okay, let's go. Whatever.
And this is how we guarantee that we will not be back next year. Right. Who knows what will happen? But for now, it was an excellent MASL season, and we had a ton of fun putting this show on for all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Pablo, thank you for being here.
Snavely, thank you. And I think we can just agree on one thing, and that's that we got to keep soccer weird. People got to keep watching Endor. They got to keep celebrating soccer that is distinctly American, and that's what we did on Sunday. So hopefully we can do some of that next year too.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we are for weird soccer, and we are for distinctly American soccer, and that is what the MASL gives you. So until next time, whenever that may be, I'm Adam Snavely. That's Pablo, and I pointed up the right direction this time. Clock that, all you fans of MASL Mondays, and we will see you sometime.